Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Turn Strangers into Clients with the Language of Sales with MAPS Coach Ron Wexler. Please note this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive the webinar recording after this call. If you have any questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located on your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar today, if you have any additional questions, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me. Ron, take it away.
Great. So shortly, we're going to actually have something on the screen to look at. In the meantime,
It'll be just one moment. We're having some slight audio difficulties.
can you hear me now?
Yes, Ron, we can. Great to have you.
Great. Well, it's great to be here, and I have to find this PowerPoint that I thought was already going to be up there. So give me 30 more seconds so that we are ready to roll, okay? In the meantime, my name is Ron Wexler. I am a Keller Williams agent here in Chicago. I've been in the business 36 amazing years, and last year my team closed 235 transactions for about $50 million in production. Our goal this year is to close 500 transactions, and we're very excited about that, and we know it's going to happen. If everyone doesn't mind, just hold your breath for 30 seconds so I can focus 100% on finding this webinar to get it in front of you all, because otherwise we're going to be doing this just with me talking, which isn't so terrible, but it's not our goal. So just give me a minute and I will be right with you, and then let's get rolling. You guys are going to love what we're sharing today. Okay, I'm ready. Can we put this up on the screen? Are you expecting me to do that, Paige? Here we go. Show my screen. All right. Believe it or not, can someone, I see we have a million of you on the line. Can someone just type into the question box that you can see my screen?
We can see
All
and
right,
hear you,
I
Ron.
can see it. Yahoo! All right, great. Hey, I totally apologize for this, and I will take 100% responsibility. And in the meantime, let's get going. We are going to spend 35 minutes together to 40 minutes together, and it is going to have an impact on your business. So let me just say that I have two goals for this conversation. Number one, my number one goal is that you get something out of it you can immediately put into your business and into action. My number two goal is that if you like what you hear and you haven't taken language of sales before, that you join us in the upcoming language of sales. If you have taken it before, it's going to just kind of get you excited again and have you know that you want to come play language of sales with us again. So here's what I'd like to share. There's certain things that we believe, right? We believe you're probably doing it the hard way. We believe everything can come easily. We believe you don't have to be a hardcore closer to move people to action. We believe you don't have to be a super salesperson all the time to make a lot of sales. We believe sincerely that when you say the right thing in the right way at the right time, life will be easy and people will easily move forward and make great decisions. So Diana asked me to start teaching this class a couple of years ago, and it was kind of funny because I love language of sales. When I first took it, it was a 6-month course. And I took it once and my sales went up. So I signed up and took it again and my sales went up. And I signed up and took it a third time and my sales went up. Over an 18-month period, I took language of sales 3 times. And so when Diana asked me if I would be willing to teach the course, I told her that story and she started laughing. And she said, I did it for 24 months. And so what it told me is that great salespeople, when they recognize a technique or a system or a model or something that'll help them grow, they jump on it and they want to be a part of it and they do it. So what I'll tell you is language of sales is not simple. And the reason I'll tell you that is because it's learning a new language. So you have a certain way of communicating, you have a certain way of seeing the world, and when you have to do something new, it's different. You're going to have to work a little bit. And even with our conversation today, what I'm going to ask is that you really play full out, stay connected, get the most out of this. Pretend that the next half hour to 45 minutes is going to instantly help you get more business because of what you learned just in this short time. And then you can decide if you want to play full out and join us with the whole game. So today we're going to focus on how to connect instantly with everybody that we meet. And I just want to be really clear, right, that my definition of rapport is when two people have a good, synchronized, trusting, safe, and connected relationship in which they're able to understand each other's needs, ideas, and feelings. In other words, here's the deal. When I'm in great rapport with people, they trust me and they do what I ask. Right? Ultimately, that's the goal. I'm not going to ask them to do anything that's not good for them. However, when we're connected, they're going to hear what I say and we're going to work towards their goals. So what's fun is they don't hesitate to share information and trust you as a person. So our goals are to cause clients to feel comfortable with us and our recommendations. Our goal is to take our career to the next level because we relate better to the people we are speaking with and working with. Our goal is to sell more homes in less time with less resistance and stress. And our goal is to cause others to act and share because they relate to us and they trust us. So, right, the ultimate goal is to have a better life, right? Just because communication is easier. We're just sitting on the end of the pier and life is going well. So what I'm going to be sharing is a strategy that will allow you to become more effective in your ability to communicate and connect with others. And it'll help you to be able to help people move forward and make decisions. And I'm talking about strangers. I'm talking about prospects. I'm talking about current and past clients. I'm talking about staff, family, everybody you bump into, things are going to get easier. Now, naturally, the fact that you decided to even join this conversation illustrates your belief that possessing an ability to influence will allow you to take your career to the next level. And, you know, have you ever noticed that some people just naturally have others listen to them at a higher level than the rest of us? You know, those people who never met a stranger, they're just instant best friends with everyone they meet. You know, it almost seems like they're blessed with some secret power, right? It's like they have the force. I am the salesperson you're looking for, right? You know, the truth is they weren't born with that, although some people are probably a little better at it than others. What happened is they learned a communication style through working towards getting what they wanted out of life. And what I'm saying is for people that don't have it naturally, or for people that have it and want to enhance it, this is the way to get it. So, you know, they know how to communicate with people in a way that causes them to feel good about themselves. And when you feel good about yourself, you make decisions and you take action. So let's just do a quick exercise together. I hope you guys don't mind, but when you work with me and with our team, with MAPS, it's very interactive. You're not going to really be lectured at a lot. You're going to participate and play the game with us. So here's what I want you to do. Take out a piece of paper and you're going to write down two things. First, it's the number of strangers you think that you meet or bump into on a weekly basis. So think about that number one. I hope you all have a pen and paper, or all you digital youngsters have a computer in front of you. But write this down. What is the number of people you meet at the mall, in your building where you live or your neighborhood, at the gas station, restaurants, your kids' school, everywhere you go? How many people each week that you currently don't know do you think you're bumping into? And again, we're playing this game together, so I would love for some of you to just type it in the box for me. How many people, and it's obviously no one's going to come and check your work, but just give me some numbers so I can have some numbers to share. Just take a guess. How many people a week do you think you're bumping into? I've got 200, 5,200, 15, 75, 40, more than 100. Okay, I'm not going to read them all, but, you know, there's quite a few of you on the line here, but 55. So a lot of people, everyone pretty much could agree that it's a lot, right? So I love it. Now take that number. I got a 4,004. I love that it's an odd number. Take the number you wrote down, multiply that number by 52. Multiply that number times 52. And then type that number for me in the box. So I've got 5,200, 780, another 780. I hope you guys are together. 260, 5,200. Right, so everyone can agree the number is pretty large, right? 2,000. Okay, great. So everyone's, I'm glad you guys are playing this game with me. So here's the thing. That's the number of at-bats you have to practice and master building a relationship with rapport and building rapport with strangers, right? So we know you're just learning and are not that great at purposely playing language of sales, rapport building yet. So let's just say, let's cut the numbers down and be, Gary calls us black hat thinkers, right? Or just whatever we see, we figure out something kind of negative, or we go the other way. So let's black hat this thing and say, let's say you only meet 3 people a week, right? And that's 156 opportunities, throughout the year. And you only connect with 10% of those people, right? So that would be maybe 15 people added to your database in a yearly basis. People who can buy or sell a home with you someday. If that only gets you to a closing table 10% of the time, look at how that number works out. In fact, take your number that you wrote down. Take 10% of that number. So if you had 52, it becomes 5, 104, it becomes 10, right? If you have 4,000, 10% would be 400, right? Take that number that you just came up with and multiply it times your average commission. And now type that number in the box for me. So if your number was 4,000 and you took 10% of 4,000, you'd have 400. And if your average commission was $5,000, it would be 400 times 5,000. Are you all with me, or did I skip a step? Okay, I'm getting some numbers. I've got 468,000, 780,000, 312,000, 2.8 million, 400. You are playing this game. You guys are totally getting the idea. Imagine, without meeting any more people, if just the people you're meeting on an average normal daily, weekly, monthly basis could turn into this kind of money. Now, we know that doesn't all happen the first time you meet someone, and we know it doesn't all close immediately. However, Gary is talking to us a lot about our database, building a big database, building a moat around that database. Your rapport and connection with those people is the moat. Just be really clear, right? That's how you connect with those people. So in the black hat example I gave, if we basically took that database, we had 156 connections in a year. We only connected, say, with half of those people. We end up working with 10% of that half. It's only 7 people. Well, those 7 people times a 5,000 commission is still $35,000, right? So no matter what we do, when we get great at these communication skills and connecting with people, these numbers go up. So let me be clear about one thing before we go any further. Manipulation is not using the language of sales. Manipulation is exerting shrewd or devious influence, especially for your advantage, right? We are not using our MAPS language of sales power for the dark side. We're using it to connect with people in a way that helps them move towards their goals. We want them to act instead of procrastinate, and we want them to choose you because you're a force for good and want to help them get what they want, right? Ultimately, you'll get what you want when you help enough people get what they want. It's not about you at all. So if you're with me, just type up a yes so I can make sure I've got this. All right, great. And just to be clear, someone had asked a question. You will get a copy of this, a link to this after we finish this class. You will get a copy so you can go back and listen to it more than once. All right. So I got a ton of yeses. That means we're ready to proceed. I'm glad to hear that. So here's some of the things that we do. Well, let me go a little bit further with this. Let's consider every day in this day of texting and emailing, you can still add a lot to your bottom line, making connections with the people you meet, just living your normal life, and at group activities like kids sports or just everywhere that you're meeting people. So the method I'm going to teach you works extremely well, and the more you use it, the better your results will be. And one other thing, you're going to have to be comfortable being uncomfortable as you learn this. And I know some of you on the line have been through the class more than once, and I'm sure you would agree with me that going through this course really makes your brain work hard, right? So think of it this way. It's called Language of Sales. Part of the course is learning a new language and language patterns and new ways to communicate. The last time you learned a new language, how easy was it? I don't know about you, but it took me a lot of repetition, practice, and focus to learn and become good at all of it. And being from the south side of Chicago, you can tell I've barely mastered English, much less a foreign language. Even the language of real estate, right? Even as, John Davis talks about the numbers of real estate, that's a whole new language for some people. Learning scripts and dialogues like you do in Bold, that's a whole new language. The more you're willing to be uncomfortable, the better you'll get at it and the more you'll grow. So your goal is to connect with the person you meet in a way that they like, remember, and feel connected with you. If they're not ready to buy or sell at this moment, you want them to give you their contact info, right? You want them to give it to you and permission to keep in touch. We know right now that the world has changed. People don't go out looking for a house or a realtor or any of that 2 days before they're going to do it, 6 weeks before they're going to do it. They start a year out, 18 months out. We want to connect with them long before they're actually ready. So let's talk about instant rapport building. So we're going to build rapport by doing 3 things. One, and this is uncomfortable, and we don't all do it all the time, we're going to pay close attention to their model of the world. We're going to respect and connect with them based on how they see the universe, not the way that we interpret the universe. We're going to follow until rapport is built, and then we're going to lead based on a strong connection. And I'm going to explain that a little bit. We're going to go be there with them as they are. We're going to get in rapport with them, and then we can help lead them to where they want to go. So when you meet someone, instead of insisting on them liking you for who you are and the way you behave, you're going to be like them. People relate to people like them. They like people like them. They trust people like them. They remember and enjoy the interaction with people like them. So guess what you're going to do? You're going to be like them. Think about it. Have you ever met someone whose dialect was intensely different from yours? Or maybe they dressed really different. They spoke faster or slower, or just, not the same as you. How quickly did you feel comfortable with them if they weren't a lot like you? And, I just want to make sure you guys are with me. So, what's it like when you bump into someone who, has a real different dialect, or you talk to them on the phone, or they, have an accent that you're not real comfortable with? What is that like? Is it good? Is it bad? Do you feel instant connection? Share some words. Someone said unfamiliar. That's a good one, right? It feels unfamiliar. You don't connect with them right away. Okay, great. Right? You're more curious about how they, where they're coming from. It seems strange. Sometimes it's frustrating. Okay, good. So you guys, I'm just making sure you're with me. I got it. So, here, think about this. We'll have a little fun with this. People who speak fast think people who speak slow are what? Type that in the box. If you talk really fast and other people talk really slow, what's your initial thought? Right. Lisa nailed it on the head, right? You think they're dumb or unintelligent. Someone said the S word. My mom told me that's not a nice word. But basically, you just don't think they're the smartest person, right? Okay, now, for those of you who are feeling annoyed right now, let me ask you this question. People who speak slow think people who speak fast are what? Shysters, crooks, arrogant, swindlers, pushy, trying to get something from them, right? So it's really true that we kind of judge people immediately when they're being themselves. And yet if they were more like us, we wouldn't necessarily feel that way. So think about this. Your verbal and even your nonverbal communication are just like that. So people who are like you connect with you. People who are not like you don't connect with you. And our goal, of course, is to have everybody connect with you. So how would you like it if when you first met, instead of reacting to you like you're a stranger or like you might be dumb or I like the word shyster in there, that, just that people have their normal reaction to you, what if they didn't? What if they loved and even repeated the conversation that they had with you? What if the line you were standing in moved and they followed you into the parking lot and were happy to have more communication with you? That's the goal of language of sales. Whether it's on the phone or in person, we want to connect with people and have them love the conversation that we shared, because we know that there's a 12 to 18, even 24-month time from when we meet most people until they're going to do something. We want that conversation to stand out in their mind. We want them to understand. So now pay attention to this, right? Because it's coming. So first is paying attention to their model of the world. You bump into someone in line, you make eye contact, you smile, you make a comment about something you observe. They have a kid or two with them, a cart full of groceries with healthy food, party food, or hardly any groceries at all. They look as though they just came from the gym, or they look like they just came from the office or a soccer game, right? So you find something you can comment on, and you make a very neutral, safe comment. Now breathe. I know our parents taught us not to talk to strangers, so just take a breath here and think about it. What if that relationship from you speaking was the $5,000 payoff? What if it was a piece of the $400,000 more that you're saying you're going to make? So stay with me here, right? When we respond, when you make that comment and when they respond, you intensely pay attention to the way they speak, their tone, their rate of speech, their body language, especially their face, right? You stay right there with them as they are. Now, I know this is a lot. This is new. You're thinking about 5 other things right now. You're looking at your computer. You're deciding, should I stay and listen to this? I'm telling you, stay with me for another 15, 20 minutes, because this is something that instantly today can start making you more money. So you meet them, you look at where they are, and how they're being, and you say, I'm going to connect to this person. So you make a comment. You say something about, their kids, they've got their hands full, or you say something about their cart full of groceries, whatever it is. They're going to respond to your comment, and you're going to listen intently like they are the most important and interesting person on the planet. You make your observations to commit to respecting and connecting with them based on their model of the world. Now, you're going to pay attention to any keywords that they may have used more than once when they responded. Diana teaches us in MAPS that that's called keyword backtracking. So you'll have to take the class to learn more about it. So just to be clear, in this conversation, it's the light version, right? We're just doing a little taste of language of sales so that you'll understand what MAPS has created for you. So I'll share what I'm talking about in an example. So stay with me here. So it's imperative that you first pay close attention to their model of the world when they responded. Were their eyes twinkling as if they were speaking of the greatest joy of their life? Were they frowning as if they were in pain, just thinking of what you discussed? Did they look off into space and give nonverbal cues to what feelings your comment elicited in them? Did they look at the card and something in particular and make a certain face? So you've observed their behavior now. You're going to follow and then lead. Remember? So you take on as much of their body language as possible. Are they slouching? Are they leaning? Do they have a foot up on the lower part of the cart? Are they leaning in or leaning back? Are their arms crossed? Remember, you're observing their way of being, and you're going to follow as much of that way of being as possible. You're going to pick out something from your observation, something from the verbal or the nonverbal cue, something from their bodily response, and you're going to put it all together in your response. And you're going to stay there with them as they are, as long as you have to, until you feel the connection being made. You'll know you're connected because you'll test the connection. When you're in rapport, you follow, then you lead, right? Great leaders teach that great leaders are great followers first. And in this instance, you learn about others and how they are by being with them as they are, where they are in the world. Then you're in rapport. That's when they'll give you permission to lead. All right, so let's think about this. Wait until you see it work in your life, right? Picture how you already do it. You know, when you have a little child and they're emotional about something, you lower down to where they are. You put on a sad face to match theirs. You start with their tone, right? Then you get in rapport with them. Then you start talking happy and you bring them out of that state. It's truly that easy with everybody that you're going to meet. So right now you may have one of two reactions to what I just shared. Your inner voice is screaming, no way, never. They'll catch me. I can't do it. Why should I? I'm too smooth and lovable the way I am. People think I'm so great already. I'm just way too cool for this stuff. Or maybe your reaction was, I'll give it a try. The world's greatest communicators use this method, right? Ron's coached hundreds of successful agents and sold thousands of homes. Diana Kokoska, Gary Keller, Tony DeCello, John Davis, all the great leaders in our company all know this and use it all the time. Great communicators already understand and use this. Some people know it automatically. Some people are purposeful like we are and go learn it. So let me ask you this question. Did I just make you all very uncomfortable? I'd just like to see, are you comfortable or uncomfortable with this conversation? I'm getting yes, I got a fine. I like that. No, I'm not uncomfortable, and that's someone who's been through the class 2 or 3 times. Comfortable, excited, curious. Okay, good. So kind of all over. I got a okie dokie okay with it. I love it. All right. So just understand wherever you are, that works for me. What I want is for you to make more money, connect with people easier, and have an easier time in your real estate career. I didn't learn about language of sales until I'd already been in real estate 15 years. I was the ultimate pound them down to the ground grinder before that. And not that I still didn't make a lot of sales, but man, did I have to work hard to do it. So I'm glad you're getting it. Here's what I'm going to share. As soon as you try it and see how powerful it is, and you will have to practice over and over with everyone to really get it to work. But as soon as you do, you're going to think it's great. So let me go back to our example just so you can kind of see how we would put it all together. Let's say you're in the grocery store line and the person is dressed in sweats. They have a cart full of vegetables. They seem harried, exhausted, and frustrated. There's 3 little kids hanging off of them who are totally out of control. You know, they're reading all the magazines and playing with all the candy, standing in line, right? So you just turn to that person, you look them in the eyes, you take on some of their body language and their posture, you turn and say, wow, I'm impressed. You truly have your hands full. And you just stop right there. You're going to just intensely pay attention to their body and tone as part of their response. Now, here's something they might respond and say, oh, you have no idea. It's 2 o'clock. We've been going since 8 a.m. I haven't had a chance to breathe. You know, my kids are amazing. And today they've been a handful. They're running around, acting crazy. They're having fun. They really enjoy each other's company. I just want to get some good food into them. And I can't wait to get home and just let them play in their own space. Right? Who's ever had something like that happen where, you know, when someone's with the kids all day, they haven't really interacted with another grown-up, they might have that long of a response, right? They might just go on and on and on and just tell you because they're so happy to have an adult to speak to. I'm going to implore you, don't interrupt. Just look them in the eyes. Start to mirror and match everything about them you can. Pay attention to the way they light up, or maybe they fade out when talking about whatever response they give. So now it's your turn. Remember the keyword backtracking, right? You're going to use their words, you're going to take on their body, and you're going to sound as much as you can like them. So your response, you know, watching you all, I was thinking, those kids are amazing. They're high energy, and they're being really nice and kind to each other. They really seem to enjoy each other's company. So again, you might want to keep going, but stop. You've given your first test of building rapport. Don't keep talking. Be quiet and let them respond. Now it's their turn, right? They might say, yes, it's wild keeping up with them. And you say, you know, I sell a lot of real estate in the area, and sometimes when we are out looking, I'll have a client with a crew like yours, and we're often looking for lots of space and big yards. Honestly, the kids are rarely that nice to each other. I've noticed sometimes the kids wear the parents out. So I didn't ask for a lead. I didn't do anything. You know, I didn't go start asking, telling them, I'm a realtor and I sell a lot of houses. Do you want me to sell yours? I didn't do any of that. All I did was slip into the conversation the fact that I sell real estate and relate, right? When we're building rapport, we're relating. I related my experience to their experience, and I also complimented their kids in the meantime. So now it's their turn. You sell real estate? Oh, I wish we could buy a bigger house. We're probably 3 years away from being able to afford one. So now this is when you see that you're in rapport, right? They kind of connected with you. They responded to you. You're staying in their body language. You're being there with them. So now they respond. They breathe a sigh. They lean in. They share. They connect. Maybe they ask you a question. You can go into the 5 basic questions of real estate that we all should have memorized. I hope you do. And this is where you go from following to leading, right? So you might say, yeah, a lot of people in this market are waiting, and right now is truly an incredible time to buy. So now here's the 5, it's actually 6, but here's the questions that you should have memorized that you should be using whenever you bump into anybody. Oh, where do you live now? How long have you lived there? How did you choose that location? If you were to move in 3 years with all those awesome kids, where would you go next? And if they didn't already ask you, you would say, well, when would you be moving next? So you're going to ask them, when would they be moving? If in this conversation, she already told us 3 years. So we would say, when would that be? And then here's the first one for rapport building and trying to connect. How are you keeping up with the changes in the market? So again, you're going to ask those questions, staying with them as they are. You're going to test the rapport. You're going to love this one. You're going to test the rapport by breaking it. So if you were speaking a little slower because they were speaking a little slower, or you were leaning in because they were leaning in, you're going to do something to break the rapport. And here's how you're going to know if they're following. Because if you lean back and they lean back, you're in rapport. If you lean in further and they lean in further, you're in rapport. If you start to speak faster and they speed up a little bit, you're in rapport. If they don't follow you, you're not there yet. So the goal is to connect and get them to do something right now, or to turn them into a database member who'll stay connected to you until they're ready to go. So that last question is what makes that part of the conversation possible. Then you can, whatever your system is right now, you're going to say, how are you keeping up with the changes in the market? They're going to say, I'm really not. I don't know. What do you mean by that? And you say, well, we have a monthly newsletter, or we have a postcard that goes out once a month, or we have a market snapshot. Whatever your automated system you have is, offer that to them. I have a great phone app that you can use. Whatever it is, you're just going to let them know that you have some way for them to stay up on the market. The bottom line is, it hardly matters what you say, more than that you connect, create rapport, and then when people hear someone like them, all their defenses will go away, and they'll let you take the lead. So I know that was really quick, and when we're doing MAPS Language of Sales calls, they're a full hour. We dig deeper, and we give you a chance to ask questions and dig in a little more. Someone asked me, what were those 5 questions? So I'm going to say them again, and you're going to all get copies of this webinar, so you can go back and dig them off of there. And what? Oh, okay. I thought maybe I had them on the webinar, but I don't. So I'll just give them to you if you're actually writing. Where do you live now? How long have you lived there? How did you choose that location? If you were to move, where would you go next? And when would that be? And then how are you keeping up with the changes in the market? So these are the things that you're going to say. So we know that MAPS Language of Sales is a method for influencing the brain's behavior through the use of language. The utilization of language patterns in our teaching through Language of Sales is designed to move your listener forward, helping them reach their goals and objectives. Remember, it's not about you. You get to where you want to go by helping other people get to where they want to go. When I got the opportunity to be an operating partner of an office, I had goals. And ultimately, for me to hit my goals, I had to find as many people as I could to help make their goals. And each time we helped more people get to their goals, our goals got closer. So it's all about them, not you. Help enough people get what they want, and you get what you want. So let's just look at some facts that become useful in the communication, right? You have to become more effective in your use of language, causing a listener to choose you, work with you, hire you. If you have a team, you want them to join your team. If they're a cooperating agent and they're not with your company and you'd like to bring them into the game with you, you get the idea. You can just connect with a limited number of people who communicate exactly like you, which is what most people do. You know right now you have clients that you have a great rapport with. I guarantee most of them are just like you. So what you can do through Language of Sales is choose today to master a way of making it so you can connect with a lot more people. It'll increase your sales. It'll increase your transactions. It'll increase your joy. Honestly, my main thing is I think of it as just helping you get a lot more yeses. Understand that most of the top producing agents and teams in our company have taken this class over and over. You know, I've worked with Lance Loken's team. I can't even tell you how many of them have been through this course with us. It will work for you like it worked for me, like it worked for Diana, like it's worked for so many. It raises your income, lowers the number of contacts needed to get to yes. So the question is, would you like to learn more techniques like this that will make a massive difference in your life? And here's the really tough one. You might even want to write this one down. What is the price that I'm paying for my current skill set? Earlier, you figured out the potential lost business, not learning language of sales. You came up with a number. Now, that number for some people might happen over a 1 or 2 year period as you master this course and this system. For other people, it might be over a 4 or 5 year period. The bottom line is you're not making anywhere near the amount of money you could be, and you're working much harder to get the money that you are making. So the cost of your current skills or lack of language skills is what's really hurting you. So let's move you towards the payoff. So calls are every Wednesday at 1. They are webinar based. And so what happens is we record them, and you usually within 24 hours of a class every Wednesday at 1, within 24 hours, you'll get the recording. Now, some people skip the live class and just do the recording. And what I'll tell you is unless you have a conflict, like if you're in bold or something that you absolutely can't change, be on the live call. And when you get the recording, go back and listen to it. You'll get so much out of it when you hear it the second, third, fourth time. It's amazing. So we also, the other thing that's been really great is we create a private Facebook group just for the people in your class. It's easy for you to find practice partners there. It's easy for you to find other people to communicate with. And more importantly, as you're learning the different things, you can share them, and I'll be critiquing your work and helping you make sure that you really understand it. So the other thing that's kind of fun on that Facebook group is people tell their funny stories about how they tried to get in Rapport or they used the method and it just didn't really work the first time. And it makes it easier to understand that, just like with language, when you're doing something new, you're going to make mistakes. It's kind of fun to have other people making mistakes right along with you. So here's the basics. It's language of sales. It lasts 12 weeks. It's 1 hour. There it is. It's Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. The calls are recorded. To sign up, all you have to do is go to mapslos.com. And when you go there, I believe the price is $396. I'm so excited it doesn't matter how much it costs because you should all be doing it. And if it was $1,000, it would be worth it. But it's $396 for the entire course. Classes start a week from the week after the 4th of July, so 2 Wednesdays from now. And basically just go on, sign up, mapslos.com. It's easy. You're going to have fun. You're going to learn a lot. You'll have access to the recordings. It's 12 courses. And during that 12 courses, you're going to learn about 14 different language patterns and methods along the lines of what I just shared with you today. So I appreciate you all being here. Oh, I'm sorry. I just think the whole world runs on Central Time. Someone asked, is it Eastern Time? No, believe it or not, it is Central Time. And 1 o'clock on Wednesdays. I just say Wednesdays at 1, easy to remember. So I can stay on the line a few more moments if anyone has a question they want to ask me directly. Otherwise, if you want to just email me, it's ron@ronwexler.com. ron@ronwexler.com. I'd be glad to answer your questions. You can also email fasttrack@kw.com with questions that you might have. Otherwise, go to mapslos.com and there's information and you can sign up there. Let me see. Let me just answer a couple of these quick questions. What if I can't do all 12? Someone says that they're pregnant. Congratulations. And you have a baby due. So if you miss a few calls, you can go back and listen to them. You have time after it's over. You can go back and listen. And even after we're done, I believe you have 30 to 60 days more where you'll have access to those recordings. And of course, you'll have taken notes. So hopefully you can just put it in your schedule, do Wednesdays at 1. If for some reason you can't, you can sign up and just do it from the recordings. And you can still ask me questions. You can still email. You can still be on the Facebook page and engaged. You just won't be on the live recording when we do it. Okay, I think that answers it all. Yeah, someone said they have a conflict on Wednesdays. Not a problem. Like in my office right now, we have people taking the class and they're all in bold at the same time. So they're just listening to it afterwards. And then when bold ends, we go for 12 weeks. When bold ends, they'll be able to do it. We don't have the next course after this one starting July 11th scheduled yet. However, it will probably be after Mega Camp. So it'll be running through Thanksgiving, Christmas, and probably even New Year's. So this is going to be the last one over the summer session. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, ron@ronwexler.com. I appreciate you all taking time out of your busy day to be here. Go out there and sell some real estate, and I hope you got a lot out of today's call. Take care.